You run an agency, but you have no idea what your churn rate is. In this 5-minute video, I hope you figure that out. Churn is just a fancy number to show you the number of people that are leaving your agency every month. Now, this is important because if you run an agency on a retainer model, then this will affect your LTV and this will affect how much you actually get paid. So in order to actually calculate our churn rate, we need 3 specific numbers. And these are the numbers that we're going to be plugging into our equation in a second to actually calculate the churn rate in your agency. The first number you'll need is the total number of clients that you're currently looking after, or the number of clients that your agency currently has. These are clients that are actually paying you. The second number you'll need is how many clients you actually signed on this month. And the third number you'll need is how many clients actually left you this month. With these 3 numbers, we can get a snapshot of your churn rate right now. So in terms of the total number of clients you currently have, first things first, you really should know this, but no shame. Go ask your CSMs. You should have some sort of record of all the different clients that you have. And if you don't, just check the number of emails you're sending out on a day-to-day basis, or check out the individual threads with your clients and just tally them up. In terms of how many clients you signed on this month, if you have closers, just ask your closers how many people they close this month. Check your CRM records by setting the close date to this month. Or if you're just the one taking sales, just look over your calendar and see how many of those appointments were closed. And in terms of how many clients left this month, you should know this number. But if you do want a better overview, open your CRM if you have one and change the end date to this month, and then this will give you that number. These are 3 numbers that you should really know in your agency, so I'm sure you can figure this out by asking your team or just taking 10 minutes to actually figure them out. Once we have the 3 numbers, we can calculate your churn rate. So let's move over to the actual equation that we're going to use. Churn is a very simple equation. All it is the number of clients that left during the period divided by the number of clients at the start of the period. So in this example, let's say we have 1,000 people at the start of the period, and after 30 days, we have 800 people. Our churn rate is going to be 200, which amount of people that left during that period divided by 1,000 times by 100 in order to get a percentage. So if we're going to use these numbers to actually calculate our churn, all we would do is the total number of clients that left this month divided by the total number of clients you currently have minus the number of clients that you signed on this month. But let's go over a quick example of what that actually looks like. At the start of the month, I had 10 people. At the end of the month, I had 8 people, which means I lost 2. In this example, my churn rate will be 2 divided by 10 times by 100. And that gives me a churn rate of 20%. Now, in this case, if I signed on 2 people this month, then I would take away 2 from my initial 10 because we don't want to count new people in our churn calculation. So this then would be 2 over 8 times by 100%. And that's pretty much it. That's how you can calculate your churn for Dummies 101. An easy, very easy to follow guide for beginners. These are already 3 numbers that you need to actually calculate your churn rate. So take a second, figure out these numbers and just calculate it. One more thing I want to say before we move on to the next section is that churn is a relative number. So you can see the total number of clients we signed on this month, how many clients we lost this month. And that's because churn is a relative number. And in this example, we just calculated monthly churn. If you wanted to do this on a quarterly basis or on an annual basis, it's the same thing. All you have to do is just change this to annual and change this to annual depending on how you want to do it. But do keep in mind that churn is a relative number and it does have a specific time frame when you talk about churn. Now, what we've just done is figured out a snapshot of our current churn rate right now, but we have no idea of how to actually track it over a longer period of time to see if the churn rate is improving or decreasing. But you need to set up a Google Sheet, and that Google Sheet needs 6 specific numbers so you can track your churn rate over time to see if it's increasing or decreasing depending on the different changes you actually bring into your agency. And those 6 fields are very simply your client names, the start date for each client, the end date for each client, the retainer for each client, the status for each client, so whether they're active, inactive, paused, wherever it may be, and the actual churn reason which you fill in whenever they actually leave your agency. This is an example of what that sheet actually looks like. As you can see, we got the client name, start date, end date, monthly retainer, status, and the actual churn reason. Now from this, if you actually update this on a regular basis, it will give you an idea of what your churn rate is on a month-by-month basis. So if you go over here, I've got this churn calculator tab, and it tells me my current churn rate, so in this case December, and the actual churn rate in November. And then from that, you can actually compare it. This is a very simple Google Sheet. There's a lot more you can add to this, but it's just a way that you can track your churn rate over a given period of time. So you can actually see whether it's improving or worsening depending on the different changes you actually bring into your agency, which if you're watching this video, I assume this is relevant for you. And that is pretty much it. That's how you can actually track the churn rate in your agency. All you need is these 3 numbers right here, and that's to give you a snapshot of what your current churn rate actually is. Then I'd recommend setting up a sheet like the one I'll show you in an example to get a better idea of what that looks like over a period of time, so you can actually track the progress and whether it's improving or worsening. If you want me to come into your agency and calculate your churn rate and also show you how you can improve it so you can actually increase your LTV and also give your clients a better experience, then just check one of the links below. I'm sure there'll be somewhere there where you can apply to book a call with myself. Also, just check out the channel. We have so many different videos going over churn, how to improve it at scale, which is something that not a lot of people talk about. Use these to give your clients a better experience or making your team's life easier, which in turn would make you more money. Also, last point I want to make is don't just track churn. There's a lot of different metrics that you can use here as secondary metrics. For example, right now I'm about to record a video on how to actually calculate your LTV. So if that's out by the time I'm watching this, I'll put it right here. If not, subscribe and I'll be coming out in the next couple of days. But the whole point is that there are a lot of secondary metrics that you can track. Don't just focus on churn rate itself. For example, revenue retention, the revenue churn versus logo churn, LTV, which again, I'm going to make a whole video of. So if you want more details on those specific numbers, then drop a comment and I'll go ahead and record it for you. Apart from that, guys, that's it for me today. Check out these videos that YouTube is going to suggest to show you different ways you can improve the churn rate in your agency. And I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.